So I'm pretty sure most of you have either been to school or are still currently in school. And I'm pretty sure most people who have experienced school can agree on one thing. School sucks.
Actually, I love school. It gives you a lot of insightful knowledge that is useful for the real world, and I am glad to have the opportunity to fill my head with that knowledge.
Okay, first of all, half of that was absolute cap. And second, for the parts of that are true, that doesn't stop it from sucking in the moment. Now that we've gotten Sheldon over there to shut up, we have to talk about the main things that make school suck. The subjects. Up first we have ELA, or as most of you probably know it, English. So English class can be a mixed bag. It's mostly boring. Like, okay, Mr. Defaultson, I'm in the 11th grade. I don't need the 11th teacher in a row explaining to me which is the right your. Like, I was learning about punctuation until the 9th grade. Like, I feel like you should have a decent grasp on that by the 6th grade, right? I'm fine with refreshers, but like, I don't need a whole unit on commas. I might have gotten a bit carried away with that rant, but you get the gist. But it's not all bad. Like, it does teach you some important skills for writing and reading. And when it comes to the stories you read as a class, they beat silent reading or doing worksheets. I'm gonna have to put ELA in the B tier. Second, we have math class. Now I'm gonna keep it real. It's stupidly hard for no reason. Like, I know it sends us to space, but like, I bet if an alien civilization came to Earth, it'll go a little something like this. I am proud to welcome our new alien visitors. What is that strange language? It's math. Don't you guys have math? Negative. Then how did you get your ships to space? It's not hard, Earthling. You just expose flammable material to fire and hope it explodes hard enough to achieve space travel. It's not that hard. This just seems excessively difficult. I promise you, for someone who's been learning it from kindergarten, it's not that difficult. You are teaching your offspring this? Is this a cult? Yeah, I don't think that would bode well. And on top of the difficulty, it's just not fun.
Actually, math is a fun side activity if you think of it like a puzzle.
Nope, boring. Honestly, the teacher can make or break math too. Like, if you get an awesome teacher, that's great. But if you get Mr. Baldy from Baldy's Basics as your math teacher, may God save you. Math can honestly go in the D tier. Social studies. Social studies can honestly burn in hell. Straight to the F tier. Now, for those of you who don't know what social studies is, it's basically like history class in the US, but we learn about concepts like globalization or nationalism. And while I understand that we should learn this stuff to prevent history from repeating itself, it doesn't stop it from being boring. It's mostly reading from a textbook and regurgitating that information. And it's even worse when your teacher is an NPC. Like, if your teacher is an NPC that doesn't even try to make it interesting, feel bad for you, man. Science. Okay, now science isn't that bad, but there are some negatives to look at. Like in math, the teacher can make or break science class too. And also, the only time you're gonna use most of the information you learn is if you get into some very niche fields. Like, I bet the schools think that if I lose my job suddenly, I'll be like, ah shit, how am I gonna pay the bills now? But of course, mitochondria is the powerhouse of a cell. Everything's all better. Like, no. That's not how the world works. But some of the stuff you learn is genuinely interesting. Science can go in the C tier. Gym. Gym is pretty good. There are a few negatives, like some of the exercise can feel kinda redundant, and the teacher's not always being the most athletic. But it's a nice break from sitting in class. Gym is going in the A tier. And that was my opinion on the 5 main school subjects. If you have a different opinion, feel free to share in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.